right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing the One Ring Second Edition tonight, continuing our Waking of Angmar campaign. Has Angmar awoke? I don't know, maybe. But yeah, this is what, episode 3, I think. I think that's right. So we've been having a lot of fun with it so far. So if you're new to the channel, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching this later on VOD or on YouTube, thank you for doing that as well. This will probably be our last one for a couple of weeks as the holidays are landing on Saturdays. So Christmas is landing next Saturday and New Year's is landing the Saturday after. So because of that, we'll probably not be back here again playing more Wondering until probably around the 8th, I guess, of January. So this will be it for now. For a couple weeks anyway. Thank you, Aaron, so much for the bits. That's more stuff. So we've kind of worked out our own rule for bits. For those of you who are interested, 100 bits will get them a bonus die. 500 bits will get them like advantage or something like that. A favored roll. I think that puts us at for the fellowship. Okay. I have nothing to hold over Aaron's head now that Delta Green's. I can't threaten him anymore. So, oh well. So I think we're at 11. We have our pool is at 11 from last week, and adding those 5. So there we go. But yeah, we'll be back in January with more Wondering, but this will be it for a couple weeks until holidays pass. Let's see. We do have one more game left on the channel next week, so we'll be back here on Monday playing Ultraviolet Grasslands, and I'll be over on Garblag Tuesday afternoon, U.S. time, North American time, as we're doing. We're doing some kind of trivia contest thing where I'm on Team NA in North America. I think we're the Frobishers. I think that's what our names are. It's an inside joke. If you've watched I don't know. If Matt's watching, if our friend old Matty Two Arms is watching, somewhere his ears are burning, and he knows what this is about. But yeah, you can come check me out on Tuesday. And then Ashley, what are we doing tonight? What are you and I doing tonight?
Tonight, we're going to be playing The Darkest House by Money Cook Games at 9 p.m. Central on Defenders of Kobold.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, like, we still have a handful of stuff left. So, tonight, and then also, I'll be on Steam Steel Murder on Sunday as we're playing. I think we're playing in our Shadowrun game, UVG, and Garblag on Tuesday. And then that's it. That's it for like a week. Maybe we'll squeeze a game somewhere in, but it'll be like impromptu. I don't think we don't have anything scheduled because of the just the days that we usually run are caught up by a lot of holiday stuff. But yeah, okay. Try not to make us look big. I told Pete and a couple others at Garblag that I'm just going to be there to look pretty, and I'm going to let Aaron answer all the trivia questions. I am a relative neophyte when it comes to role-playing games. I've really only got back in this a couple years ago. I played the first role-playing game I ever played was Vampire the Masquerade in the mid-90s. I had no idea. No one prepared me for what was happening, and I just showed up at a couple of us showed up at a friend's house, and I was like, "What's happening? What is happening to me?" Like, I had an old Advanced Dungeons and Dragons book in the early '90s. I think it was I'm not sure what edition it was, but I have it on my shelf still. That was like the first book I ever read, but I never played it. We just, my buddy and I, we just made characters and used those to do random battles on our Hero Quest board. And then the first real role playing game was Vampire the Masquerade. And then I didn't do anything until college. And then I didn't do it again until I met these schmucks and we started. What was the first? I think it wasn't it End of the World? Didn't we do the End of the World Alien game? That was a lot of fun.
That was the first one.
I guess Aaron will both beat a pretty one, and then Matt can do all the question. I mean, he is a Garblock, so he should have to do all the work. But yeah, but now we're playing Wondering, so that's enough with that random aside. Let's play some Wondering. Why don't we introduce characters, and then I'll do the summary, and then we'll get going. So let's start with Aurinial. I want two things. How you doing on Hope? Because Hope is a resource that is an adventure resource, meaning you're not going to get most of it back until we hit a fellowship phase. So how you doing on Hope, and how you feeling right now, and how you feeling at everything you've learned and stuff like that. So Aurinial.
So Aurinial's not doing great on Hope. I did not quite realize exactly how Hope came back, and I also didn't quite comprehend for my character specifically, I only recover half during fellowship phases. So yeah, I'm down to 4. out of 12. I spent it a little bit too freely
Oh man.
in the first session. I spent like half in the first session, like thinking that it kind of recovered all at once in the fellowship phase, kind of not remembering that little bit from Rangers that I'm only getting half back.
How are your shadow? How you doing on shadow points?
So, shadow, I am at, I just had it. And
Probably
then we need to
2?
stall until I find it again. 2.
I say 2.
Yeah, only 2.
Okay, so you know what's going to happen if your shadow points reach your current hope, right?
It was max hope. We looked that up because that
that's
was
right.
my
It's max
concern.
hope.
That's what I was freaking out about before last session.
Right.
That it was
Okay.
current and not max.
Okay.
And
So
then we
yeah,
corrected.
so basically, like what we're talking about is there's a like the mechanism in games, like hope is a resource that you can spend to make yourself, to get extra dice on rolls. Shadow is like another, it's another pool that you accrue shadow points over the course of the adventuring phase, and like those two things can potentially like cause some issues, as you might have to take like a shadow scar, you might have to have a bout of madness. I'm not going to get into the full rules until it actually happens to us, but like they're all interconnected. And so that's how you might start moving down your shadow path, because everyone has a shadow path. Every specific calling has something that you move down, and you can take a shadow scar, but if like to sort of replenish, the pool of shadow points, or deplete it, I should say. And then, but that kind of creates this like permanent shadow point that's always on your sheet. So, yeah, okay. So I know who to target tonight. Good, excellent. Next up, we've got Floy. Long, tell us about Floy.
Yeah, I'm playing Floy, treasure hunter dwarf. I'm pretty hopeful right now. I've got 9 out of 11.
9 out of 11. Okay, yeah. You had a hell of a move last week. You pulled like a Hulk Hogan from the high
rope,
rings. Yeah, like the ropes, I should say. Excuse me. Now, and you are 69 years old, right? You pervert.
Yes, I am an adult dwarf.
Nice.
That's actually fairly young for a dwarf. You know that, right? Yeah, 69 is fairly young. For example, your patron Balin, who is also a dwarf, I want to say he's like 200 and change. I can't remember the exact number, like 202 years old. But yeah, 69 is fairly young. I believe that Gimli of Lord of the Rings fame was in his 60s when the Erebor quest was taken up in The Hobbit, and he was considered too young to go on the quest in his 60s.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so it's just kind of dwarves different age system. But yeah, I think Balin's like 202 or so, something. I looked it up, but I wrote it down somewhere. But he's in his 200s, but he's looking good. He's looking good for a 200-year-old dwarf. And then finally we got Gilly. Tell us about Gilly, Ashley.
So my hope, I have 9 out of 14. And I do have 2 shadow points hanging over me, but I am our lovely hobbit. I'm our scholar. And she means business. She's come across pretty weird so far.
She does a mean troll impression.
That's pretty on brand for Ashley characters, though.
Yeah.
First impression we had, she's like elbow deep in a freaking dead sheep or something. Yeah. Okay.
Well, and it's like I was like, oh, she's gonna be so cute when I like introduce her.
Adorable.
And then everybody's like, yeah, I'm gonna investigate this, and I'm like, I have to investigate the sheep. Like I have to.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So, let's dive in. So, you all we've been adventuring around Breeland, right? So, Breeland has 4 villages of note. The one that most people know is Bree, but we have been dealing mostly with Combe, which is a neighboring village. There's also 2 others. There's Staddle, which is where I think it's like it's predominantly hobbits. Combe is humans with some hobbits. So it's basically like a mixture of like Bree hobbits, which is what Gilly is, and humans. And then there's also Archit, which is a little further up. I want to say the Greenway, which is the north-south road. And they're I think they're the most kind of remote. I think they might be the smallest, if I recall. I have to look it up again. But we've been hanging around Combe because your patron, Balin, as I already said, asked you all to look into an issue with one of his friends, Rosa Goodborough, a hobbit sheep farmer who has the nicest mutton or something like that, and her livestock and some of her neighbors' livestock were getting slaughtered, and we started with you all investigating that, and it turns out that it had something to do with a goblin raiding party, orc raiding party. And you also learned that there was a missing woodcutter from Combe by the name of Elise Briarcleave that was also missing. You guys headed out to investigate. You went through the Chetwood. You went into the Midgewater Marshes. You met and actually befriended in a fairly tense conversation Hollis Oakstout, who was an exiled Bree warden who apparently raised guard dogs and things like that. But he did something bad in the he sort of looked the other way on a crime for some bandits, and then he kind of got exiled. And he claims to have been doing it just because he wanted to help his old dear mom. He gave you a lot of information. He gave you information that there's been a ton of activity of late over the past couple of months and over the past couple of weeks, where more and more activity as goblins and orcs and wargs and things like that have been moving through the marshes, heading north into the Weather Hills. It referenced a very big, fat, large, powerful looking orc who had like his own little retinue in some sort of strange way, like this little scrawny goblin or something like that was following him around, might be leading the pack. But they've been hanging out and they've been doing stuff in the Weather Hills. You're not sure exactly what. And also there was reference to a group of men, of folk who were seen collaborating, working with them, which is nothing like normal bandits on the road wouldn't do that kind of thing. So this is something strange. You eventually found Elise Briarcleave. You rescued her due to some wonderful ventriloquism and some pretty heroic dwarven jumping off of trees moves by both Floy and Gilly that really kind of turned the tide and allowed you to save Elise from what looked like certain doom. You got her back to town, got her some healing. And she kind of confirmed a lot of what Hollis said. And she even gave you one extra bit of info. And that was that this group of evil men, presumably, she was tracking them throughout the Chetwood. And she saw them kind of clean themselves in a stream and dress in like normal sort of Breeland type village gear. And they don't look like, people from this area. They look like kind of strangers, but they've dressed in such a way as to almost look like they're kind of undercover. And that's when the goblins kind of attacked and she got in an issue and she wasn't able to track them any further. But it looked like to her mind that they were trying to go into the towns. So with that, let's get started. You all managed to convince the Sweet Roots, which is one of the people who live in Combe who are healing Elise Briarcleave. You managed to convince them that you should stay there. And so that's what you did.
They got guilt tripped into it.
You talked your way into a house. So you wake up in the morning. You feel better. You got your endurance back. None of you are wounded. So you got your energy back. Floy, it was a long day for you as you were carrying Elise. So you feel a little bit better, less fatigued than you were the night before. However, you guys didn't have a great night's sleep. Mechanically, you got your endurance back, no problem. But you were up several times throughout the night, as all throughout the night, you kept hearing the barking of dogs constantly. Sometimes going absolutely crazy for minutes on end. And then they quiet down, and then you maybe fall asleep again for an hour or two, and then once again, middle of the night, you'd hear it once more. The Sweet Roots, like in the morning, when they wake up, they tell you they were kind of concerned that maybe the livestock were getting hit again. But they're able, as they're coming back, fetching some water, bringing it back to the group and everything as you're sitting around eating their food. And they say that's not the case, but yeah, they've heard from some of their neighbors and from other folk that, dogs have been going crazy all night, and they seem very unsettled and nervous and sort of strange. Elise is better. Elise is feeling better. She's up. She's eating. Color is back in her face. She doesn't look as pale. What would y'all like to do?
So what do we want to do? Look at go to the Forsaken Inn? Do we want to make that trek? Find out about the collaborators? Try to get some information?
Be a bit rough out there. They're bandits working with orcs and all that. Nothing like we've ever seen.
And Gilly just kind of nods, but she's also, I'm kind of worried about those dogs. I wonder what that could mean.
It's got to be them goblins again. Didn't take care of them all. Of course they're gonna show up.
So we just leave to the end and leave these poor people to deal with it themselves?
I mean, we can let wardens know, but we gave them our warning. We're not their guards either.
But we were entrusted with this mission, and I feel like if we just leave, that's not. And she just kind of like, I don't know.
You itching for another fight? You're gonna go back out there and...
I mean, not really. I did terrible, but maybe on our way to the end, we could check it out.
We're not suffering any wounds, so I suppose.
So what exactly did Ballin tell us again? Just remind me.
Yeah, I mean, your patron is tasked you, and don't forget you guys have your 5 fellowship points back. Has tasked you with like your main goal was to help out Goodborough, the other people of Combe who have been kind to him in the past, and so that's your task. Like your task is just sort of figuring out what's going on. He probably suspected that there were, maybe goblins or orcs involved, and that Balin has a tendency to, like, if you look at like the patron stuff, he's very interested in kind of taking out enemy lieutenants and things like that. That's mechanically like one of his interests. So taking out the enemy. So that's, so it's kind of sussing out who's at fault, who's evil, what's going on. So that your task isn't complete.
Yeah, we could slay goblins night and night and not be over. We have to find a bigger head, the source.
Cut it at the root. Okay.
Just
that's her saying
it. Root, like metaphors got mixed there. Yeah. Okay.
That's how Gilly says it.
Yeah.
And then if we wanted to, how close would we be if we wanted to check in on Marge?
Marge would be over in Bree, as that's what Hollis told you. You're in Combe,
Right.
Neighboring village. It doesn't take that long to get there. Obviously, they're neighboring villages. So, that the Forsaken Inn is about a day. If that is your decision, that's about a day's ride to the east. It's kind of on the edge of sort of this Bree area. It's on the road. It's kind of just this decrepit looking building on the side of the road.
So if we wanted to check in on her, we're as close to her right now as we're going to be in a bit, likely. It's not the urgent task, but we did just run across her son, and it could be nice to let her know that we did see him.
We'll be back in Bree soon. We don't have to go now. It's not like she has anything for us.
This is true. We have a job to do.
Yeah, it seems like the two primary leads you have going on for you right now are the Forsaken Inn, possibly asking some questions there. You do have, from a Hollis at the very least, some thought that they might have been there, and then from Elise there was the fact that they might like they were dressing in kind of villager clothing and possibly like blending into the town or something like that. So those are kind of like your two leads for those evil folk. And then you just know that there are goblins and orcs up in the Weather Hills, and possibly led by that giant orc. So those are kind of like your three things. And then, like Aurenial said, like, Marge, someone to check in on, whether or not it's pressing. It's up to you guys.
So do we go straight to the inn, or do we want to wander Combe on our way and see if we see any of these folks that are dressed as villagers?
Gilly definitely votes for some reconnaissance.
So these disguised villagers that you've been talking about, are they in Combe or in Bree again?
You're not sure.
Combe, Bree, and then possibly other places too.
Yeah,
maybe.
the four villages are like right next to each other. So
Okay.
like they're all within a very short distance. And she saw this happening. Elise saw this happening in the Chetwood, which is to the north, and all of the villages are sort of south of the Chetwood. So they could be in any of them. And then you heard the crazy dogs and stuff at night.
I mean, immediate effectiveness is just where we are. We can look into it. If that like helps, maybe a little bit. But then eventually we're gonna have to make our way to the end to find out more.
Okay, so maybe we can start the morning out in Combe and then travel over to the inn.
Okay. All right.
We thank our hosts for their hospitality.
Yeah, I kind of look at you with sort of a snort, like, It was.
I haven't showered in 2 days, being out in the marshes in the woods.
Yeah, and like you've got their sheets, their blankets are all kind of covered in your gook and stuff, and they're holding it up as they're carrying it out, like keeping it 3 feet in front of them. You know, nose peeled, like, don't mention it, as they wander outside and just set it on fire, because there's nothing saving it now. Oh, and the other thing, by the way, Floy, if you recall, you found a braided dwarven necklace.
Right.
That was the other big thing. And it had like, it was braided dwarven necklace, and it had like hollowed out teeth as beads. Okay. So you guys want to just do some reconnaissance around the village? That's what I heard. Okay. Sure. Yeah, we'll just treat this like a skill endeavor, basically, a pretty simple one. The idea of just tell me how you're doing this. Like, what are you looking to accomplish? We'll set it at like a resistance of 6, middle of the road. And as you're just trying to gain information about what people might have seen, if anyone's seen any strange folks. So how would each of you, as you spread out, what would you want to do?
Gilly would probably be talking to people as she goes. You know, I know I'm not necessarily, I'm a stranger around here as well, but I was wondering if there was anybody else who maybe caused some alarm.
Okay. Sure. Like, it sounds to me maybe like a courtesy roll. Is that what you're angling towards?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's do courtesy. As you kind of just do it, just a general, whoever you run into in the street kind of deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh
no, I mean, you tell me.
Yes. No,
that's not what you
I
intended.
was thinking. No.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So yeah, you just kind of start wandering about town, and while, I mean, you're not from Combe specifically, but you are from the Brelands. You're familiar here. You probably might even run into a person or two who might be kind of running errands in different villages or something like that, doing trade. There's certainly overlap. But as you're asking about, like, one of the things you heard was that, yeah, apparently during the night there was like a couple homes, buildings that seems like they got broken into. Yeah. Then if you need a reset, just reload, Ashley.
Okay.
But yeah, you hear more than once that there was like, people heard prowlers. They heard like shutters being opened, and you hear a couple folks from time to time, like some of them are doing it like kind of scoffing at others who are telling the story about like this paranoia about like, I could have sworn I heard someone outside my window last night, and then others is like, when I went to bed, I not sure I left me door, unlocked, but I get up and it's, lo and behold, it's locked. And then others are like, strangest thing, like, the shutters were open. I wouldn't leave the shutters open at night. It's absurd. And you hear others that are kind of talking about how, and my cupboards, someone was rifling through my cupboards last night. I didn't quite understand it. It's very, I thought it was my son, but it wasn't him. He claims he didn't, but probably was just him. He gets into all sorts of trouble. But yeah, you hear maybe 4 or 5 different stories kind of in that same vein. Prowlers, people, nothing stolen, like the coin and stuff like that doesn't appear to have been stolen. Valuables are still seems to be in their place, which is why no one's really reporting it. It's more just like a kind of an oddity. So we'll call that a success.
Okay.
Okay. So what are the rest of you doing? What do Floy and Aurenia?
Do we get that info when she does that?
Yeah, there's no
Like-
reason I think you
okay.
can't do that.
I was thinking maybe like scan the properties near where the dogs were barking.
Okay, so you want to do like looking for like clues, something that's hidden, like actually
Yeah.
go to some of these houses. Okay. Yeah. So you find yourself once again for the second time this adventure at the home of Meadow Oldbook, who is a goat farmer, a hobbit goat farmer, who was fairly unimpressed by some of your investigative skills the last time you were around. She wasn't too enamored with your attempts to just suddenly be her hero. But with something else going on, she seems confused. She seems unsettled. You notice that one of the things that she's most concerned with is someone left like the gate of her corral area, and so some of her animals are just missing. There doesn't. She's concerned, and so she's walking around and she's whistling and calling out for what sounds like a goat, like one of her friendly goats. So she's like, Billy, where are you? But yeah, go ahead and roll scan.
Oh, a Gandalf. Great success.
Great success. Okay, that'll be 2 ticks towards the goal. Yeah, as you are investigating, especially when you're looking at this particular farm, you do notice that there are some very large boot prints kind of in the mud. It rained yesterday afternoon, but it didn't rain last night, and so like the ground seemed fairly moist, and kind of was retaining some of these tracks, and it does look like non-hobbit footprints and such have been left around, and at a certain point you do find what looks like a pouch, and when you kind of start rumbling through it is some sort of tobacco. But when you start smelling it, it's nothing like they produce around here, nothing like they produce in any of the Bree lands, and even if you're fortunate enough to get some of the leaf that comes out of the Shire, nothing like that either. It's got a very pungent smell to it. It doesn't seem to be kind of a brand or a flavor that you've mentioned that you've ever experienced before. Seems like sort of like outsider product. Aurenia, what are you up to?
I was thinking of sort of just moving around the market area and more listening. So I'm thinking kind of an awareness, just listening to people's conversations and what's going on today.
Okay. Sure. So what are you thinking of rolling here?
Awareness.
Okay, awareness. Yeah. Okay. That's all right.
Oh no.
No.
That's a failure.
You are beset by numerous dirty looks as you wander around the market square of Combe. Fairly small. It's not as robust as Bree might be. But as you're going about, you're getting more than a number of dirty looks, and you can hear just fine. But usually when you're passing by, you're not overhearing any conversation about activity in the area. You're hearing rumors, of course, but they're about you and about like them foul ranger folk. Who does she think she is coming into the village? Gotta stay away from her. Make sure you keep the children from her. We don't want any of them kind of wandering near. Like, I heard that they go wandering about that Dead Man's Dyke area up the north-south road. And so, like, you hear all these different things about you and about, like, ranger folk, about outsider strangers. If there's any strangers here, it's that one. And they don't say this to your face. They say this when they think you're not hearing. And so...
Sure, but I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're all just giving you, ranger, like, dirty ranger, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Perennial.
That's fine. She's used to it.
All right, so you're 3 and 3 at this point. You've got 3 successes. You've got 3 tries. You need 3 more successes and 3 tries. So,
No pressure.
So yeah, I put a time limit of 6 on this as something's happening. There's a clock. The clock is ticking. So what do you guys? So far you've learned that there was somebody certainly was on like Meadow Oldbrook's property. You can definitely tell that there was some kind of tobacco that was dropped that was no way consistent with any of the stuff that you have here. You've also heard rumors of people's homes being broken into, but not necessarily anything being stolen, and that's what you've heard thus far. So what else do we want to do?
Could Irenial do and I don't know if this would work, but could I do a travel check on the tobacco to try to see if in my travels I've come across where that tobacco is from?
That wouldn't really be a travel test.
Okay.
To me, that's more of a lore, I think, is more likely, something
That's
like
what
that.
I was going to ask, yeah.
Yeah. Because travel is more about like just sort of trying to keep up your spirits and things like that over the course, and like your fatigue and whatnot. But lore is more like it's like a knowledge check, more likely.
Is anybody really good at lore? I've got 2 texts, but it's an 18.
I got 1 out of 15.
Don't forget, you guys all have the listener or the viewer bonuses. You also have your 5 fellowship points where you can burn one of those as your fellowship as a fellowship ability to roll at advantage, roll it at favored.
I have it favored with 2 points in it.
Oh, then yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do a lore check on the tobacco and
Okay.
use one of the bonus die from our pool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, you meet up with Floy probably midday. You guys kind of maybe split up a little bit. Spend an hour or two. Probably got a late start to the day because things were a little bit hectic last night, and then you didn't get a good night's sleep because of all the dog barking. So around midday, you meet up again, grab a bite to eat, sniff the tobacco a little bit, kind of go through it, and yeah, go ahead and give it a roll.
Great success.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay. You so it'll be 2 successes. So you're 5 out of 6. You got 1 more, and you've got 2 more chances to get 1 more success. So you take a look at it, you smell it, you smoke it, and you can't quite pinpoint like specifically who might have produced this, but there is sort of this lingering flavor and scent to it that seems out of place to you, like this additive, right? And it kind of dawns on you at a certain point after you smoke quite a bit of it during lunch. You just go through the whole thing, right? Just you hotbox Floy and everything. You realize that there's like a weed that you know of, and the name is on the tip of your tongue. That's not kind of indigenous to this area, but it is, however, it does grow, as far as your research suggests, in the hills to the east, to the northeast, like up in Rudau, or up in the Ettenmoors, kind of up there somewhere, which is sort of tough land. It's not a place where people really spend a whole lot of time. It's possible some rangers and stuff might wander around, but like it's known to be fairly kind of dangerous lands, dour lands, here and there. But yeah, this it's got that scent, that flower. This suggests, yeah, this is most certainly not from here. So you think it might be like kind of a weed that's more indigenous to like the hills and to the mountains of the Ettenmoors, Mount Garm area, that kind of thing. Okay, so yeah, you are 5 successes out of 6 of your endeavor. You have 2 more chances before that clock strikes.
So we found footprints. Floyd did. So that's something we could look into. What else?
Yeah, footprints, strange tobacco that seems to be from completely outside the Breelands, which is like the rumor that you were like, what you've heard is that there's these men that are collaborating with orcs, but like, as bad as the bandits along the the Great Eastern Road are, like, they're not gonna collaborate with orcs and goblins. That's insane, right? They'll steal your money and stuff like that. They'll steal your food. They'll waylay you, but they have have standards, right? And so the theory that Elise was throwing out there, that it might be strangers like coming into the Breelands. You've also heard from Hollis that there's been recent activity of late in the marshes, and how like people, there's been groups moving through. He said it was mostly orcs and goblins coming up from the south, but it could be more. Who knows? All right, so
those tracks I found.
Yeah,
maybe I'll go a little snooping around on those.
Okay, so you want to try to like see if you can follow those a little bit more, see if they turn into something else.
Can I
hunting?
Support with that?
Sure. We could do a hunting roll. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, I've got 2 in hunting, and I'm favored.
Were you thinking of something else?
And help her with it.
Okay, were you thinking of something else though, Floyd?
No, I wasn't thinking. I was just generally putting out what to do.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So go ahead and roll that, and you can take your bonus die from support. The interface, as you guys know, there was an update to the Foundry module, so it's a little bit different, but it should be self-explanatory if you look at it.
Yep, I got it. Support from companion.
Okay, go ahead and give it a roll.
And I'm gonna go ahead and take one of the bonus dice.
Sure.
As well, if I can do both.
Gotcha. Yeah,
just
you can have multiple
to
bonuses.
Get some extras there.
Okay.
Why did that not roll? Wait, hold on. That didn't roll correctly.
Yeah, I didn't roll any of your bonus die.
Yeah, because I've got two for hunting plus the bonus, and it didn't.
So you're trying to roll hunting, and you've got a support from companion. You've got
I'm
how many
roll
bonus die?
1 for support from companion, and 1 that I used from the audience.
There you go. Rolled for
yes,
me
that's
just fine.
better.
Okay. All right. So
yay!
You kind of get on the tracks for a little bit. They disappear into the middle of town, and it becomes impossible to kind of discern them. But once you get a good kind of feel for like the exact boot print and stuff, and then combined with some of the powder, you start doing some additional tracking, and you notice on one of the paths kind of leading outwards about kind of in a northwesternly veer away from like kind of the center of town, center of the village, you kind of see along the way that there have been some matches that have been struck and dropped here and there, as if you're kind of following somebody, and you pick it up, kind of give it a smell, give it a scent. You see what looks like some of these leaves that have been dropped along the way, and you take a whiff of them, and they smell a lot like the types of things that have been picked up by that tobacco pouch that Floy was able to find. And you find yourself following this for a bit, and you get out of town a decent ways, and there's a small home that's kind of recessed here away, or like kind of reclusive, I should say. I would say Aurinial would probably know who this is. In fact, as a ranger, he's a man by the name of Oswald Breaker. Kind of a curmudgeonly old man, widow. Some strange stories about exactly how his wife died. Most kind of steer clear of him for various reasons. He doesn't really invite anyone over. Occasionally he pays folks to go do shopping for him, that kind of stuff, but more or less kind of stays in his home. The reason you would probably know him, Aurinial, is because he tends to, every now and then, he actually is a decent ally to some ranger folk in the area, and that, like, especially at times in which you're kind of doing research in the area, whether it's about Fornost or whether it's about like the North Downs or something like that, he's known to have kind of his own somewhat elaborate library that he doesn't usually lend out to folks. He's very suspicious of people and very antisocial, but he does seem to have a soft spot somewhere in that cold heart of his for rangers like yourself. At your age,
so we see these tracks come up to his house.
Yeah, and like there's a gravel cut away, because you're on kind of a dirt road that's sort of sweeping around the village here and there, right? And then it kind of sweeps up and probably goes north towards Archet. But you can see that, there's a kind of a gravel road here and there. When you look over, you do see kind of a thin plume of smoke coming up out of the chimney. But you can see all the shutters are drawn. It's probably mid-afternoon. Still, it's overcast a bit. You can see rain is kind of starting to sprinkle time to time. But yeah, that he doesn't really come out. He has his own garden in the back that he kind of tends, and when he needs anything else, he kind of hires a messenger or something like that to go grab him things.
So, Floyd, if you'll indulge me for a bit, I actually know who lives in that home, and I'd like to have a conversation with him, if you wouldn't mind spending a little bit more time out here.
Oh, you want me to wait out here?
He's fairly quiet. I've met him a couple of times before, but he's not very friendly to folks. You may be able to stay under his eave, though, out of the rain.
All right, just give me a signal if something happens.
Will do.
Okay. So Floyd, Gilly, two of you kind of hang back a bit. You watch as Aurinial heads up the gravel path, approaches the door. You can see that the lantern that's hanging outside the door is sort of running fairly low, or maybe maybe he never kind of doused it for the day. You're not really sure because it looks like it's about to give out. But yeah, like you don't really see anything. You don't hear anything as you get up, knock on the door. Wait. No answer. Knock again. Wait. Still no answer.
Is there a window that I can look in or on the side?
All the window, yeah, like approaching from the front of the building, front of the home. You do, and it's all the windows seem to be shuttered. And it's summertime, so it's kind of, most people will probably throw their shutters open at some point in the summer.
Knowing I might regret this, I will try the door.
You do, and it does seem to be locked, barred, something like that. It doesn't seem to open.
But I did think that I saw like a fire or something inside.
You saw you saw a chimney coming. You saw smoke coming up the chimney. So whether cooking fire or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, it did seem like there was somebody there. And he doesn't travel. You would know 100% this is not a guy who travels.
I'm going to kind of walk back out over to Gillian and Floy and just say, so there's clearly someone inside, but he's not answering. And I tried opening the door, but it's definitely barred. We might want to maybe walk around and just see if someone else is inside other than him.
Well, let's take a look-sees then, won't we?
Do you actually say look-see?
Yeah.
Man, he's so modern, this Floy. Okay. So the home is east facing. So that you see that you follow that dirt road around. And are you all sticking together? Are you spreading out? What do you want to do?
I'll take the other way around the house. You go the other.
Yeah, spread out.
What about you there, Gilly?
I'll probably keep an eye on the front door just in case. Make sure nobody comes out this way if they're going around.
Okay. Fair enough. So this sounds like scan or awareness would probably be the most suitable skills here.
All right.
Are we all rolling or?
If you're just staying out front, I don't think you're going to get any new information that Aurinial didn't get already, but you could potentially roll it. And I would say if you get like a great or extraordinary success, maybe there's something we can give you.
Aurinial failed.
Got a great success.
Okay. Yeah, Gilly, why don't you go ahead and roll? Just more the merrier. Okay.
Success.
All right. Okay, so we'll start with we'll actually start with Gilly, who's out front. You know, you stay a little bit of a little away from the front door and everything, from the kind of the front porch area. Home's fairly modest. You can see there's like a well off to the south. You can see there's a couple trees here and there and bushes. But you settle down at a certain point and kind of, not hide yourself, but kind of make yourself a little scarce behind what looks like a bunch of bushes. But as you're doing so, like as luck would have it, you kind of pick up on what looks like a series of like this of disturbed earth, and you kind of go over there and you can see that there's this whole trek of tracks that seem to be moving off of the pathway and westward into the into his land, not quite to the home, but almost like it's kind of skirting around the north side of it. Oryniel, you find what, yeah, I know. You find what looks like some kind of tool shed in the back, and it's also locked, and like you maybe spend a significant portion of your time trying to bust it open. Eventually you break the door down and you realize there's really nothing inside, but what looks like just tools and things like that. Whereas Floy, you as you're kind of wandering around, it's not so much what you see, but what you hear. As you're probably going around the south side of the house, and even though all of the windows that you pass by are in fact shuttered, you do hear the sounds of a woman kind of cackling, like laughing, coming from inside. This like deep throaty, like female cackle. And then as you're listening to that, you hear the same kind of a similar thing, and then you hear a glass or a plate break.
I'll rush to Reniel, let her know what happened. It doesn't sound right.
Okay.
No, it's just Oswald that lives alone here.
At this point, the rain begins to fall a little bit, and you're starting to, some of the noise here is just going to get drowned out by like the patter of raindrops coming down.
Let's find a way in. We might be in danger.
What? That doesn't sound like something I would do, you guys.
Sword is out.
All right, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut your sight off so badly. Let's give you a look of where you're at so you can kind of see. I'll increase those numbers because it is during the day that you guys are here. Even though it's kind of raining, just going to update your vision so you have a little bit more sight to work with. But it is starting to rain a bit, so it's kind of obscuring sight just a wee bit. But yeah, so we'll say that Floy tracks down Oryniel in the back. Kind of, you pass by what looks like a vegetable garden, that kind of thing. You see her putzing around inside of some kind of tool shed, whereas you remain out front, Gilly, of the home, and you're kind of keeping an eye on. And you do kind of confirm that there are some tracks that seem to be around. Okay, all right, that should be about good right there. Okay, so what do you guys want to do?
Yeah, if there's like a door back here, maybe try and pick it open. It's
Window.
locked.
It's a window. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try and give it a wiggle.
Yeah, you go up to it, and it does appear to be like kind of shuttered from the inside. Like there might be likely kind of a drop bar to keep like the wind from blowing these things open. But at the same time, if you wanted to, you could probably pretty easily just like, take the axe out and smash it. It's like, it wouldn't be hard, but like, it's not the case of like there is like a lock or something to pick. You could get this open, but it would make some sound.
I have burglary, so I'm trying to look for a way to like something that's locked. If I can unlock it, would be preferable.
Okay. We could say that there might be enough of a sliver between like the two sides of the shutter to maybe slide like a very thin like dagger or blade in, and maybe see if you can just kind of get it up that way. It's going to require, I think this is going to be a skill roll though to do that.
Yeah.
Whereas the other thing wouldn't be a skill roll. Just smashing it's easy enough to do. So a stealth would probably be the most likely skill that you're probably going to want to use here.
All right. So I have the distinctive feature of burglary, so this would probably fall under that.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you want to burn a hope, is that what you're saying? To get your so burn a hope, inspired. Okay, so get your extra dice. Look at all them dice rolling.
Whoa, 27 extraordinary. What the?
Oh my
No
gosh.
sound, like no sound whatsoever, not even a hint. And not only that, because of the extraordinary success, what we'll say is that we'll carry that over to you and Aurinial climbing in the window completely silently. Okay, so it's going to be not just you opening the window, but actually the two of you entering the home without any sounds whatsoever. Okay, so
Nice.
assuming the two of you want to do that, so the two of you climb in.
I did first want to kind of go around the
You
side.
gotta go now.
So while he was filling with the lock, I'm gonna go around
There's
the
no
side,
lock.
make eye contact with Gilly, and let her know that we're going in the back,
Sure. That's
so she knows what we're doing.
okay, Gilly. Do you want to join them?
She will after she follows those tracks for a little bit.
Yeah, so you notice that they kind of move about a bit to the north. You can see that they lead up to what looks like this tree to the northeast of the home, and they kind of linger there, and at a certain point you see like they split off and go in different directions. Some of them go to the back of the house, some of them go kind of to the front of the house here and there, but it looks like maybe they were lingering, around here for a bit, but eventually kind of spreading. You can kind of tell just from like how old the tracks look and how muddy they are compared to how wet the ground was from time to time. But yeah, you get the sense that somebody was kind of casing the joint.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Then she'll meet up with them if that's what she feels.
Sure, yeah. You can go ahead and move yourself all around the home. If not, I can do it for you. Okay, so all of you sneak into what looks like a bedroom. As you pop inside, you can see that there's, bed big enough for two. Very, very quietly. There's a door that leads to the rest of the home as well, but it doesn't look like anyone noticed you as you came in. Like you kept it very quiet. You can see that the bed itself has, it looks to have not been slept in as far as you can tell, or at least it was decently made. You can see that there's what looks to be some kind of charcoal sketch of a woman, as like a little portrait that seems to be framed up on one of the walls directly across from the bed itself. It looks like there's kind of a wardrobe on the north wall. There's two smaller kind of nightstands on either side of the bed, which is centered on the south wall, and then the door seems to go eastward into the rest of the building itself. Are you going inside or not, Gilly?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, I'm gonna move you. All right, you got it. All right. What do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna creak this door open, maybe get a peek if I can see anything.
Okay, I'll carry over your extraordinary success one more time. This will be the last time, and I'll ask for a new roll. And so I'll go ahead and just open it, and you can kind of see a little bit. And so what you actually see right now is what you really do see. And you can do it quietly. You can see that there is a woman to your right, which is the south side, at a dining table. You can see that she's sitting in a chair. She's leaning back against a wall. She's got her dirty boots up on the dining table. And you can see that the dining table is kind of caked in it. There's like a lantern that's giving off some light. You can see there's a bunch of wine bottles on the ground here and there, and she seems to be drinking out of one of them. And then once she finishes, she just sort of tosses it up in the air and it kind of lands and cracks down. You also have view of what looks like a kitchen area. It's like there's no lantern in there, but you're getting enough light kind of bouncing off some of the walls and through the tiny seams and the shutters here and there. But that's what you see when you creak it open. You also, I would say, notice that she's got a weapon that's kind of sitting up. She looks like she has like a fairly big cudgel, and she's got a bow that's leaned up against the wall next to her, and the cudgel is like resting on top of the dining table.
Would I have to do a roll to climb back out the window?
Yeah, I think so. Going back out, you probably throw a stealth.
Because I'm thinking I'll go around to the front again and I'll start banging on the door to see if I can draw her attention. So you guys-
Distraction.
yeah, so you guys
If you want to
can,
do that, roll stealth.
Okay.
We haven't used fellowship points yet. If you wanted to roll at advantage.
Yeah, those do replenish, so you
Stealth
have
is an
5.
advantage for me.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I'll just
Favored.
do...
This is
or-
5th edition.
Yes.
Sorry.
Favored. My bad.
Could I take one of the extra dice, though?
Got
Of
it.
course. Yep. I'm tracking this. I don't trust Melissa and her cheating. We're down to 8. Cheater.
Success.
Okay. You guys, as Floy is kind of peeking out the creased open door into the rest of the house, Arinial, you look over your shoulder and you can see Gilly is climbing back up at the window, and just as looks like she's about to slip and fall, but she manages to steady herself at the last second, and like you can see that she nearly fell right down on the ground on some kind of some sort of chest that he has there, and is very, very careful. Like she has like this coin pouch that's kind of hanging down from her belt that's just sort of jingling and could very easily have smashed, but she manages to very carefully kind of get over and quietly step back outside. You don't think she made significant enough noise to draw attention to anyone. Floy, you also don't notice the woman that's sitting at the table do anything. So you can move yourself back outside, Gilly. Aurenia, what are you doing while this is happening? So Floy just did something. Gilly did something. What do you want to do?
Gilly, would you say that you communicated your plan in any way? Like, did you make any hand motions or anything like that?
I'd say we probably have worked with each other long enough that you guys would know that I go to be the distraction, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
In
I
which
think
case
easy,
then-
like pointing at the door and being like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do it. Like easy.
Yeah.
Let's use the bathroom at this time.
Wait, you're saying I should knock on the door right now? Okay, well I'll knock on the door right now.
All right. In that case, then Aurenial is just going to hold tight, because if Gilly is going to be a distraction, then Aurenial is going to wait for the signal.
Okay, if you're just waiting, why don't you go ahead and roll an awareness while Gilly goes back outside and is kind of stomping around.
I'm failing everything today.
Yeah, the rain coming outside is just really... like now with the window kind of open a bit, like you can hear the rain is getting heavier and heavier. It's falling. It's getting a little harder to sort of make out. You occasionally hear the sounds of like footsteps and people moving about, but you can't really discern exactly what you're hearing. Floyd, what do you want to do? You have this woman in your sights.
Yeah, I want to like eavesdrop if I can hear if they're conversing about anything.
Sure, you can roll that awareness test if you like.
Here comes the extraordinary success. Oh.
Oh, it's only a 7.
Yeah, you guys really should like think about using the resources that you have before you just hit the roll, because like the rolls in this game are kind of hard at times until you start burning those resources. So you really should be using the resources that you have, but it's too late. You failed.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, you don't. It's similar. Like the rain's a little too loud, which on the one hand is helpful because it kind of helped cloak some of Gilly's movements probably, but on the other hand, you can't make out exactly, but you do hear muffled voices elsewhere in the house. So you don't think this woman's alone. You just can't quite make out what's being said. And you also hear like stumbles and shouts and stuff like that. Like not stumbles and bumps and things like that. But at this point, yeah, Ashley, you can kind of move yourself around to the front if you like. That's okay.
Is
yeah,
this
you
a
don't hear
window?
anything. That is in fact a window, yeah. As you pass by.
Yeah, she'll like crawl underneath it. and then just head up to the front and start banging on the door again.
Yeah, all the windows are shuttered, so like you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, so you
Okay,
go up
cool.
and you start banging. You start banging at the door, and Floy, if you're continuing to keep an eye on the woman at the dining table, you see that she sits up. Like she rests all 4 of the chairs down on the floor, and then she gets up, grabs the cudgel, and you can see that she takes a few steps, and she kind of leans against a post that's right here in the center of the room, kind of helping the rafters a bit. And she's kind of staring at this point at the door. You also, it's 11sies. You should definitely offer them tea. You also notice a second woman step out from behind kind of an obscure wall that you couldn't quite see, but she steps into vision, and like she's kind of hiding behind what looks like the door. Neither of them are opening it, but they looks like they have weapons in hand, and they're kind of gripping them, and they're waiting and waiting. You get the sense that they're like waiting for someone to open the door, but they're not going to open it themselves.
I'll just wait on Gilly's plan then.
Okay, well, Gilly's plan has just happened. She's just
Yeah.
knocked
Yeah,
on
that
the
was
front
it.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's knocking and she's making noise, and they're watching the door, and they're waiting to see if it opens, but they themselves don't appear to be willing to open it.
Iriniel's got sword and shield out as soon as we got inside, and so upon the banging of the door, Iriniel wants to just go charge at the woman
Okay.
leaning against the middle.
Okay. Let's see if you manage to do this like with ambush. So stealth versus awareness is basically what this is going to be.
Oh man,
So yeah.
I would like to. I'm not so good at stealth, so I would like to use a fellowship point and one of our d6s.
Okay.
That's the first fellowship point of the day, right?
Yeah,
That
we're
was
down
it.
to 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
for
making
it.
sure. All right, let me see if this roll works properly. So stealth with a 8 dice and a bonus dice. Yeah, it's not working for me for some reason. It rolled the 2, but it's just not doing the 6s for some reason. So 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'll take care of it for you in a second.
I
Or you're doing
got-
it. Give me
yeah,
your
so
total.
The d6.
This is me rolling.
I got a 5, a 3, and a 6 on my d6s.
Okay. So unfortunately, they rolled an Eye of Sauron, which for them is the
Yeah,
equivalent
yeah.
of you guys rolling a Gandalf.
Mm-hmm.
And you push past Floy, and as you do, the woman at the post immediately whips her head around, and you can see you're unable to get kind of an ambush off. So we're gonna move into combat then. At this point, I'm gonna say no opening volley either. I think we're in too much of a close quarters to really kind of warrant this. You specifically said you took out your shield and sword. In this case, it makes sense. We're inside,
Mhm.
so we're gonna bypass opening volleys and just dive right into combat at this point. Okay, so all right, it's gonna be fun. Let me get some death music going. Okay, let me put you all in combat. Oh boy, I'm worried about y'all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put all those in combat.
Don't say that, Jeff.
Iriniel is protecting one of her few friends in the world. Theoretically,
I don't know why they're
he's
not
here
popping
somewhere.
up. There we go. I gotta do this one at a time. All right. Okay. You're protecting your one friend in the world. So are you trying
One
to
of
say
my
you
few
have?
friends in the world. Like, I mean, there's the group that I come with, like obviously this party, but outside of that, Oswald is one of the few people that like me.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. So let's do. So we're skipping opening volleys. We're going right into stance. So pick your stances. Gilly, you're also outside a locked or barred door on the other side, and I'm gonna say, why don't you roll an awareness test to see if you even hear a scrum beginning? Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't even know if it's activated yet.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly. And Aaron, you're totally right. I really prefer only to kill people named Matt and Canadians. So that seems to be what I go after. Yeah. So as long as your name's not Matt.
Automatic success.
Ooh.
Okay, you hear the sounds of the woman as she whirls and notices Irenial. She shouts, and we'll say actually she shouts in a language that I think none of you might necessarily be familiar with. At least it sounds quite concerning. And when she looks over at, now that she's a little bit closer to you, Floy, and also Irenial, you can see that like your friend Elise was right. She's got like these kind of peculiar braids coming down her head, and she's got what looks like almost like sort of tattoos over top of her eyes in kind of this peculiar way. She looks a little she looks like she's tried to clean herself up, but is nonetheless kind of got this like caked up grime. Just do your stances. Don't move yourself yet.
Oh, I just figured because I ran out, so I was just kind of catching up. With
Yeah,
what I did last time,
I'll
just 'cause I
say
ran
put
out.
yourself right out in front of the door, because it's gonna be they're gonna get the assignment roll.
Okay.
All right,
Could
so
I
Floy
put
and
myself-
Irenial are in front. Go ahead.
Could I put myself in open in like? Granted, I don't necessarily know that they're in combat yet, but still do the enhearten roll.
Yeah, it would
Or
be
I
like
got
you
the
could,
I got
yeah,
the
you can.
success, so I do know.
You
Actually.
did, you know that something's going down, and yeah, you can. I mean, the idea of enhearten is like you're shouting like encouragement or something like that. So sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So in this particular case, you guys are outnumbered. So when we so this reminds you all, when there's more enemies than heroes, which in fact there are, the lore master does assign one opponent to each unengaged hero fighting in a close combat stance, and then for each remaining foe, the lore master chooses between a hero and close combat. Blah blah blah. So like, I kind of set that up. So I think this one is so like we'll keep the distances where they are because we can get a couple. You know, you still have to advance and things like that, but. We'll say that this one for sure will be assigned to Irenial. The one that's kind of over by the front door will be assigned to. We'll actually assign that one specifically to Gilly, since she's right by the front door, and I think at this point she knows the jig is up. And then, yeah, 1, 2. We'll have another one assigned. And yeah, so there's going to be two each are going to be assigned to both Irenial and Floy, and one of them is going to be assigned to Gilly. Okay. So at this time, let's go ahead and pop into the first round of combat. So, Irenial, you're in forward stance. What do you want to do?
I want to go ahead. I would like to do intimidate foe.
Okay, so that's your combat test. Do you want to stay where you're at? Do you want to advance? Because one of the things you can do is your minor action, you kind of advance a couple steps in combat, which in this case that would be this. Or do you want to kind of hang here?
I think I'll hang here. Like there isn't anything where like she's gonna get charged if she comes at me or anything like that. So, like I think I'll stay.
Nothing really like that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so go ahead. So you're doing the combat task of
Intimidate foe.
All right. Go
so
ahead.
that's an all roll.
Mhm.
And I feel like this would be. Oh, do I want to spend hope now? We have so few hope. I'm just gonna roll it.
Remember, we still have dice from the.
Yeah, I'll take one of those.
All right, down to 6.
Let me see if this rolls properly.
All right, so the intimidate foe, you make an all roll as your main action. On success, the enemy's morale has been shaken, and all opponents with might 1 are made weary on their next attack roll. If your roll includes a success icon, which is a 6 on a d6, and all adversaries with might 2. Might is sort of like a general strength indicator of a character. And so with a great success, that'll be any. So in this case, it'll be any adversary with at might 2 or might 1 is going to suffer the weary penalty. All right.
I rolled a successful roll. It's exciting today.
Cool. All right. Okay, so Floy, you're up. What is it you shout to make this, or what is it you do to make this intimidating presence?
I was kind of playing off the protection of like you're, kind of that like you're not gonna hurt my friend. I know this house inside and out. Something like that. That sounds scary to people.
Yeah, I'm taking it back. That's a fail. That's
You should just be like,
they're not they're not intimidated. They feel guilty. They're like, oh, we can't hurt her. Look at her. Like, oh, that's a shame. Okay, so by the way, weary means that whenever you roll like d6s as part of a roll, the one any roll of a 1, 2, or 3 is counted as a 0 instead. So it makes it harder to hit. Okay, what are you doing, Floy?
Am I engaged or am I not?
So yeah, you would be assigned to the one in this corner over here. You know that. So the way the game works is that you're engaged in the sense like you two are kind of locked eyes. You know that you're kind of thrown down with that one. Yeah, I'm sorry,
Okay.
this one right here. There's a guy who just kind of stepped out right there. That'll be yours.
All right, with Iriniel charging out already, I'll just follow her and go towards the one. Just run
Okay.
at the one that I'm locked eyes with.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and like your minor action, you can advance forward, and then if you want your main action, you can attack if you like.
Yeah, I'm swinging down.
Yeah, sure.
Trying to remember. Oh yeah, it's this axe down there.
I remember that horseshoes game. That was like, what, episode 2, I think, of our Zweihander podcast? Oh, dear. God, I spent a long time making those rules, and it's time I'm never getting back. So scene. We were so dumb. Don't forget to target your... Yeah, make sure to target them, and then roll your die. Oh, no.
Oh, I got Eye of Saura.
You come swooping in. It's like you're charging at the woman who's by the door, and you look like she's getting ready to kind of like unhook and maybe charge at Gilly outside. And right as it looks like you're about to get a clear swing on her, the door opens right to your left, and this guy comes barging out, this big hulking dude. And you can see that he's got like Bree villager clothing on, but it certainly doesn't fit right. He seems much bigger and like kind of, muscular, powerful, tall, and he comes. And out of nowhere, he just blocks your swing as it comes through and kind of stares you through the eye. He's like, I smell dwarf. And and your attack misses. Gilly comes over to you.
okay, so I'm gonna do my rally comrades.
Yeah.
So that's an enhearten roll. Would you say it could make it inspired because I'm true-hearted and I really believe in Floy and Ireniel and just actually just kicking butt, taking names?
I mean, normally yes, but I feel like you don't know what the hell's going on inside. So go for it. You can
I
take
think
it.
more so in the sense like I'm just totally sincere. Like I believe that they can't do.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So I am down.
Thinking of that horseshoes game. Oh my god. Dear goodness.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a really...
It
I think the
was.
mechanics were cool. Like you can like intimidate, insult, and stuff. Go ahead and roll that combat task.
Great
Okay.
success.
Yay!
All right. So you are doing rally comrades. So
Yep.
this means that on the next round, next turn, basically anybody in a close combat stance gets a bonus die on your attack. So remember that on your next turn.
Cool. And then I think what I would do from there is I want to run back around to the open window.
Mm-mm. You're not gonna be able to do that. No, because moving that amount of distance would take up the majority of your time. So if you're talking about like literally
No, I
traversing
mean
all the way
just
around
a
the
little
back
bit as far as I can get. Or no?
Yeah, you would basically be able to get to like there. Like the
Got it,
idea,
okay.
yeah, you can take like 3 or 4 steps. Like advancing is more like you can take like 2 or 3 steps forward, but like if you're trying to traverse a battlefield, like you're gonna have to at some point burn
Yeah.
your action to do so, or to try to burst open a door or to burst open a window. So like you're gonna have to spend that at some point.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, but you guys hear through the door of the windows, you hear the sounds of Gilly saying what?
At first, she's just like screaming, kind of like the troll was doing, like kind of like also like an intimidate thing.
There's a
So
troll
there's
outside.
You just hear Gilly just go, oh, and she's like, get him, Floyd, Aurelio. And yeah, she's very
Okay.
enthusiastic.
Gilly's outside hulking out on the front porch. Gilly smash.
Yeah, she's just going on, and she's like, give me something cool to write in my diary tonight.
All right. Well, guys, this is where it's going to get rough for you.
Uh-oh.
So first you see Aurelial to your left. So from a northern set of double doors, you see them burst open, like with a significant, like a not insignificant amount of power.
And out comes my friend Oswald, right? To join us.
As you see a very kind of tall figure has kind of got half their head shaved, and you can see like there's a braid, like this black braid that kind of goes down the top of it. Kind of got these almost looks like markings of some kind around the side, and the other half is just hanging limply. Very difficult for them to pass as Brelanders. And they just kick the door open, and you can see they themselves have a not insignificant kind of they have some sort of rough blade in their hands, but that's their turn, is to literally kick the door open and take a couple steps forward. Next up is the woman that was by the corner. She's going to spend her turn. She's going to open up the door, hearing the sound of someone outside shouting back in. She's going to open the door, and then she's going to step outside. She's basically opening the door and stepping through it and looking to see what's out here. Cudgel in hand, ready to go. Spots Gilly immediately, and so that's her turn. After that, it's gonna be who's next. The next one is the one that was kind of leaning by the post that Aurelial, you were gonna go in charge. She locks eyes with you. You can see this cruel grin comes up, and you can see the wine-stained teeth begin to show, and you can see there's a few of them that are still missing. She's scars all over her face. She looks like she's lived a very rough and tumble life, but she's going to advance and take a swing at you. She is weary, which I did toggle on the sheet, so this should hopefully be part of the roll. She's just gonna come up and take a swing. Sorry, I need to target you. I get used to this whole having to target a person thing. We don't really do that in any of our other games. Honestly, one thing I don't like about this sheet. I don't like having to toggle stuff. Everything else I love. Takes a swing at you. So they come charging, and but you can see that maybe she drank too much wine, or maybe she's just a little too tired. But she kind of lifts this cudgel that had been resting on the dining room table, swings, you duck out of the way, and it smashes against the wall. You hear what looks like some kind of like sketch of again another one of those kind of charcoal sketching of a woman just fall to the ground and kind of scatter, like the frame kind of breaks. Originally, you would know, since we've established that you know this guy. I don't know if your age being so young, you are very young. I'm not sure if you'd have a very lengthy relationship with him, and you certainly wouldn't have met her, but you would probably be able to intuit it's his wife, right? And so this is
He's a widow.
Yeah. So next after that one goes, it'll be...
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, don't worry. All this one can do is move. And this one will get right up next to Aurelial as well. As they come pushing past the since they're double doors, is able to kind of get through. When you look into the room that they're coming from the north, this is both Floy and Arena. You can see it's some kind of study. There's books on the ground. You can see some of the bookcases have been smashed, chairs have been broken. Floy, from your angle, you can see that there is an old man laying on the ground. You're not sure his condition. Then finally, it'll be the one that just stepped out of, now that you're close to it, now that you're close to him, Floy, you can see he just stepped out of the bathroom and he blocked your swing, and he is then going to return that swing towards you. He also is weary, so I'll go ahead and click that, and he'll take a swing. Probably not going to hit, but maybe. Yeah, he swings out, and his cudgel just clanks harmlessly off of your armor. And that is the end, I believe, of their turns. Yeah, that is the end of their turns. We go to a new round. Again, the three of you will get a bonus die from the inspiring presence from Gilly. What do you guys want to do? Iriniel, you're up first.
Yep. I will retain the stance that I'm in, and I'm going to retain the same target. And I'm going to strike her, so I should have an extra d6 because...
We're just doing stances. Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on.
Sorry.
So, Iriniel, you're staying in forward stance. Floy, are you good where you're at? Forward stance? Or do you want to do something else? You can see that bursting through the door, this guy up to the north, the big guy with the fairly big sword, he's looking around and he sees you. And you can see his eyes just kind of stare down. So, basically, you think he's coming for you as well. You can see that Iriniel's got two on her. One of them just stepped outside going after Gilly. You've got another one here that's you're already kind of engaged with, and then there's this big guy stepping out that's coming for you as well.
I'll go to open. I'll actually switch it up a bit.
You're going to switch it up? You're going to go to open? Okay, you should be able to do that yourself, I believe.
Yeah.
It changed.
Sweet.
I changed it?
All right. Okay, and then Ashley, what do you want to do with Gilly?
I'm going to stay in open.
All right.
So I can get that bonus die.
All right, let's do it. So then in forward stance, Iriniel, your turn. You've got two of them on you.
All right, so the original one that I see your face.
I just remembered that they actually get a bonus die because of the stance you're in, so they're both going to get bonus die against you at the attack. I can't remember if I took them on the previous turn, but we'll see. Go ahead.
Yeah. So hopefully this sheet should already calculate the +1 because of my stance, and then I'll get another +1
From
Gilly.
From Gilly.
So let me see if that works. So I get 2 for my swords, so then I should get another one for my stance and another one for that, and then I'm going to use one of the other ones.
Could you be more specific? You said other ones twice.
Sorry. So I've got one for my stance, one from Gilly, and one from the audience purchased.
Okay, gotcha. And then plus your skills. Like you have 2. You said you have 2 levels.
Exactly.
In it,
so I should have 1,
5.
2. So there should be 5 d6s rolling.
Go for it. Oh no, I see.
I'm short 1d6. That rolled only 4d6, so I'm going to roll another one.
Yeah, go ahead. Nice Sauron in there too.
It's an auto fail though.
It's not an auto fail
not
unless you're unless there's one of the conditions. I can't remember which. One of the conditions makes it an auto failure, but on its own it just counts basically as a 0. Okay. That is a fail as you go to swing out at your target, and but you're waylaid and kind of distracted just enough by this second combatant. This guy that steps out of the room, charges after you, kind of bumps you as you swing. You miss. Your sword slashes down to the ground, kind of cuts into the floorboards. Then it's going to move over to Floy's turn. Floy, you're in open stance. What do you want to do?
Nothing personal, mate. I'll just bring my axe up and swing at him.
Go for it. So this is the guy who just got out of the bathroom.
Yeah.
He's like pulling his pants up and he's like, "Oh God, dwarf!"
A success.
That is a success indeed. You hit him 7 points of damage. Okay. It's not a piercing thing. You didn't get any extra bonuses, so it's just straight up 7 damage. As he parries the first shot, and you just kind of sweep down and go right for his legs. You get a chunk of the blade right into his calf, and you can see him wince and sort of lift it back. Your blade comes free, squirt of blood against the wall. Okay. Then it's going to go over to Gilly. Your turn.
Yeah,
This
I'm
woman
gonna...
stepped out into the porch, staring at you. It's like, "Yes, you little hobbit. Come give us a kiss." She's got a very throaty voice.
Oh, okay. No thanks. I'm gonna hit her with my short sword.
So rude. Okay, so like you can kind of step in advance, like a step, that's fine, and then you swing at her.
Okay.
Don't forget you get the bonus die from your in heart last round.
Yeah. How do you guys? Oh, there's the bonus die now.
It should be
Okay,
there.
cool.
You should see it. Yeah.
That's
And don't
fab.
forget, you guys have 5 more audience purchased dice, bonus dice. You also have, was it 3 or 4 fellowship points left?
We have 4 fellowship.
Yeah, we have 4 of each because I just used one.
Because
of
you're
the
outnumbered
audience purchased.
5-3, so you might want to start burning some of these, or it's going to get ugly fast.
Yeah, this is gonna be bad for me. I'm gonna try. Can I get one of the dice from the pool?
Absolutely.
So we're what, down to 5?
Down to 4.
4. Okay.
Thank you, audience.
Blessed. Thank you. Okay. Didn't do my 2 extra dice.
I don't know what you guys are clicking on. I think Melissa was having a trouble
I
with
did.
it too.
So I clicked the bonus dice area. So
Okay.
I guess don't do that in the
All
future.
right, you rolled 4 on your feet die. How many bonus die should you have rolled?
2. So I'll just
So
roll 2.
Just roll 2d6, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So I think the trick there is that if you do it to the right of center, it's a bonus, but if you do it left of center, it's penalty. So I think that might be what we were both doing wrong.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that sounds right. That is a miss with a 12. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just checking something really quick. Yeah, you needed a 14. You're just short. Okay. All right. Actually, no, it says
Outnumbered
16.
and bad rolls.
16. Okay. So yeah. You step up, you try to swing your little short sword, and she just deftly steps back and looks down, ruffles your head a little bit, really, really condescending. And that is the end of your turns. They are no longer weary, and they are ready to go. The brute the big guy will move across the battlefield with his, and he will get in lock an engagement with Floy, so he'll be able to swing next round. Then you've got the one who's outside. We'll go ahead and target Gilly, and take a swing at Gilly. As we'll swing down, no longer weary. Just a cudgel, nothing special. And you were an open, so there's no penalty or anything like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So that's a miss. Wow. I needed to hit a 19 against you?
Wow.
That can't be right.
Against who? Me?
Yeah. What's your holy crap.
I have a buckler equipped.
That really only affects parry. Actually, it does affect parry. What's your plus to parry right now?
My little box is +1, but my parry is 18, like the big box.
Okay, yeah, you're a tiny little,
Wow.
you just dart around, kind of get
Yeah.
into the bushes, these beautiful kind of like blue flower bushes, kind of duck in them a bit. She swings down, she's kind of like chopping through these bushes. She's like, "Get over here, you rat!" And she's constantly smashing through them, but she is not able to hit you. Wow. The one that's on Aurinial, now that she's no longer weary, she will look at you, and as you look back at the man who just came out of the doors to the north, kind of throws you off, and she'll take this opportunity to swing at you as well. no longer weary. Get that off and take a swing.
And +1 because of forward.
Oh, yep. I got to roll one more. Thank you. So that's going to be...
Just don't roll a 6.
I didn't. So that's a 15. So you're just barely like sword one way, shield the other, just kind of pairing both of these. They don't have like these don't seem to. The only one that seems to have a pretty intimidating looking weapon is the one big guy who's now started to lock an engagement with Floy. And then you can see that the next one who comes up will be the other one that's locked with you. We'll do the same thing.
Okay.
And we'll continue to swing. Gets that bonus die. I'm going to go ahead and add it properly. Oh, man, I am rolling just nothing. As you are able to once again keep them at bay. And then final one to go would be the one that just came out of the bathroom. So wants to target our old friend Floy. Very mad. You can see toilet paper on his shoe. And he swings down. Gonna get rid of that weary condition again. I feel like something's changed with the character sheets. Oh, God.
Wow.
6. I am rolling like jack squat as you leaning down to the side. Like this one's the one that took the wound in the leg. You almost cut its leg off. Swings back at you, completely misses, smashes their cudgel against the wall. You can see what looks like some kind of display plate that had like a welcome to a heart home thing kind of painted on it, falls and shatters on the ground. And that is the end of the round. And we go to the back of the top. Stances. We've got Renial, you're still in forward.
Yeah, correct.
Floy and Gilly, you want to stay in open?
Yeah, I'll stay in open.
All right, Renial, you're up. 2 of them on you. Neither of them have actually been hit. We'll say that you probably can see the foot of Oswald Breaker through the door behind these guys, laying on the ground. Can't tell if he's alive or not. So Renial, you're up.
All right. I am going to use one of those fellowship points.
Gotcha.
So we're down to 3. I'm going to use one of those audience
Gotcha.
purchased. And I'm going to spend a hope. Because I'm bold. Is there a limit to D6s you can add?
No,
Is it
not
like
that I'm
3?
aware of. No, I don't think so.
All right.
Because the more you add, the more chances you are of increasing the quality of your success.
Okay, so I'm bold, so I'm going to spend 1 hope to give me 2. So I'm going to get 2 from bold, 1 from purchased, 1 because I'm up close. So that's
Okay.
4.
You're going
for
after
that.
the woman with the wine
Yes.
stained teeth? Okay.
Yeah, so I should have 66s because it's a sword
Go for
and
it.
advantage. So let's see if I do this right.
Bring it.
Let's see if that rolls properly or not.
It looks good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got
It did
7.
not roll
in fact.
advantage.
Did roll 7. Roll another d12. All right. So with a 9, you would have. Yeah, you would very easily. Actually, yeah, you rolled a Gandalf, so that wasn't even have been as good. Yeah, you got a great success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you basically. Wait, what do you want to do with that extra success? You might just heavy blow it, try to do extra more damage, take her out.
I probably should. I mean,
Okay.
we just need to get through these.
Give me the total.
You want me to do math? That's a lot of math.
Yeah. And then you're going to describe this in a very creative and colorful way.
Okay. So Arenil is very upset because she just saw the foot of her friend laying on the ground.
Yes.
And so, she's just been kind of crazy with, kind of the sword and the shield and whatnot. And so she's just going to kind of, with all her might, just sort of do a whip spin move with the sword, just right across her face. Because, kind of mentioning all of that kind of wine stain drinking. And so that's where the spin of the sword is just going to catch her right across the jaw.
Cool. So what's the total damage?
Okay, so
your weapon has a default damage, so take a look at that. What's the damage on your weapon?
am struggling to find where that is right
Short sword is 3, unless
You have
that's
a-
the one that you have
she
the
has-
thing on.
She does, but it's 3. It's for a crit. So this
now. Yeah,
is
you're right. It's 3.
so. Yeah, which you did. This is a piercing blow, by the way.
Because
Yeah,
it's a keen
piercing
short
blow.
sword.
Yeah, you killed it. Yeah, you kill her. So describe how you kill her.
Okay. Yeah.
This drunken wine-soaked Karen.
Yes. Just just kind of right across the face. Just
Kills
kind
the
of
day
swipe
drinker.
right down.
Okay, so she grins. She's got this this berry coated purple teeth, and she just swings, and you, without even looking at her, you just kind of sweep backwards and you just take her right into the face. You can see the blade kind of burying right into the jaw, and she has just a look of utter surprise as you wrench the blade free, and she just falls to the ground. She is most certainly dead. Okay, go ahead. Let me get her off the map, and then we move forward, and we've got Floy. Floy, you look behind you just in time to see this brutal strike from Aurinial as she just nearly takes the top of a head off a woman. What would you like to do?
All right, now we're talking, and now I'll just continually swing on this guy.
Oh, the guy who just came out of the bathroom? Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
No bonuses or anything, just a raw swing.
Yeah. Okay. You got the big guy on you too now. Not that I can hit you guys. Oh no.
Oh
Alright,
no.
Thank you,
That's a
Twitch, by the way.
Awful roll.
Okay, you swing, and as you go to swing, you just suddenly, as you're trying to whip the big great axe, you get stuck, and you look back, and this 6'5" behemoth of a man with a shaved head grabs the haft of your axe as you're trying to swing it, and just goes, kind of shakes his head at you. No, little dwarf, as you try to swing. All right, Gilly, open stance outside on the porch with this woman, toe to toe. You're weaving between these flowered bushes. What do you want to do?
So I have a question.
Okay.
I have equipment. I have a rope and a hook. I'm wondering if I can use that to kind of like whip it around and try and get it around her ankles and like trip her.
Okay. I think that's great. The one thing I'll say is this is probably going to require you to like either drop the weapon that you have, because sheathing would probably be an action. But if you just drop it on the ground to grab stuff, yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay,
If
I'll do
you're
that.
cool with that.
Yeah.
So let's make this. This is probably still going to be a roll. Do you have an idea of what you were looking to roll here?
Oh God.
I mean, athletics is my first instinct, but I have this
Yeah.
sneaking suspicion that's not something you're good at.
It's absolutely not.
Okay, so if there's something else that you think would make sense, I'm fine with it.
Would
Craft,
stealth
maybe?
apply as like, or craft as being like tricky kind of thing?
Well, we did just establish that you were like rolling around in the bushes, so I'll take a stealth. Yeah, as you're like kind of dodging around
as
in the
I'm like
bushes,
in the
occasionally
bush
poking
and
it.
then I like.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Absolutely, go for it. I love it. Just try to. You're literally doing the hiding in a bush and trying to tie your shoelaces together is what's actually happening right here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so go. All you gotta do is roll your stealth.
Cool. Could I use a bonus die, please?
Absolutely. Gotcha. Down to 5. Thank you to Old Twitch again. Oh my. Good thing that's a
success.
favored roll, because you rolled both a Gandalf and a Sauron at the same time. And I'm gonna say that you managed to wrap that around her ankles and
then just like yank it.
and just yank it. And we'll say she falls to the ground and becomes entangled. And we're playing it fast and loose. We'll say it's gonna take her 4 rounds to kind of untangle herself. And so she is basically out of the, you could like, if you stay in combat with her, she can still swing at you from the ground, but if you take like 2 or 3 steps away, she couldn't necessarily advance to you. So as long as no one's like within immediate engagement with her, you're probably safe to leave her for a couple minutes, but she can probably hack through the rope, but it'll take her a couple seconds.
Okay.
All right, awesome. And so we'll assume then that you maybe back up a couple steps so as not to get caught by her. All right, the big one, the big fella now. The big old brute's gonna take a swing. He's got your axe in his hands. No, little dwarf. Let's go. Puts his second hand and just swings down with his sword in the direction at Floy. Floy, and you were in an open stance, so I get no bonuses in this case. So let me. Yeah, my target's good. As he swings down, that's gonna hit this time. 18 is a success. Does 4 points of damage. No crit. So no piercing blow, no heavy blow, nothing like that. So you take 4 points of damage as he swings down, and he kind of clips your ear ever so slightly and kind of trims your beard just a little bit, and a little tuft of beard hair falls to the ground. You reach up, you can feel blood beginning to come out from underneath.
How dare?
Oh no.
I mean, Floyd did nearly cut the leg off one of his friends. I'm just saying, like, you know, technically you guys did this
But
first.
it's
this is
the
worse.
beard.
Yeah. That's fair. Okay. So next up, it's going to be this one that's outside. It's going to go ahead and use one of the required 4 to be able to kind of untangle herself. So that's the one that Gilly managed to annoy. The second of the 2 that were on Aurinial, having just seen their compatriot nearly decapitated by the blade of Aurinial, will, with an angry shout, like this war cry, will try to do like this uppercut swing of the cudgel to take your chin off. All right.
Fair.
And you are in fighting.
+1
Okay.
dice because I'm in forward.
All right, that's a hit this time. Great success, even. I will heavy blow that. So which is going to add 2 to the damage. So you take a grand total of. Also a piercing blow.
Oh.
Holy.
What did I roll? Oh yeah, because I rolled an Iasaron.
Uh-oh.
You are wounded.
Oh no.
So you take 5 points of
no.
damage from the swing. But
Okay.
and I'm just gonna say it's what we just said. It just swings out at you. You're gonna have to roll on the wounded thing. I can do it. I have it ready to go.
I got
so
it.
you got it. Okay, go ahead and roll to see what kind. Severe injury. It's gonna take 9 days for you to recover, and we're gonna call. I think we should call it a broken jaw. We just said in the fiction that they swung upwards with the cudgel, breaks your jaw. And you can see like maybe a tooth goes flying as you spit blood out, and your jaw is now just a little bit unhinged and crumpled a bit.
Ow.
Okay. Look out. Next up is going to be the one that's still got that bleeding leg and is managing to hang in the fight somehow, over by Floy, having just come out of the bathroom. Is going to target Floy. Looks a little bit relieved that this bigger fella now with the sword is swinging down, kind of in the fight, doesn't feel as outnumbered. We'll go ahead and take a swing at Floy, who's an open stance, no extra bonus dice or anything. But we'll miss. Your armor, you're too small. You managed to roll around just in time, kind of put the forearm up, and you kind of block away the shot of the cudgel. Next up, we go back to the start of the round. Aurinial, you staying in forward stance?
Yeah.
Okay. One of them's next to you. Your jaw is aching.
Actually,
Floyd-
no, because if I once I have a wound, if I get a second wound, I'm down, right? So
Yes,
I don't want
correct.
to stay there. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I had to
So you're
remind
switching
myself
to
of the rule
open?
on that. I am
All right.
going to switch to defensive.
Defensive. Okay. So go ahead and make your stance change. Floy and Gilly, are you both good in
Going
open?
forward.
Okay. Floy is going activated.
Ooh,
Okay, you didn't want to waste your turn.
I'm gonna
Gilly,
go
are
to
you good where you're
Reward.
at? Okay. You.
Because I dropped my sword.
I don't.
Can I
think
not
you
move away and
can.
move?
It's not so much that. Remember, there's.
Oh, because we're
rules.
outnumbered.
Yeah. Just want to double check something. Only allowed if the total number of enemies isn't more than twice the number of heroes. No, you're good. Has to be more than twice the
Okay.
number of heroes. Yeah, you can.
Cool.
So we'll say you're rearward. Perfect. So you step out of the bushes. You get your bow out. Floy comes back to you. You just took a shot to the jaw. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna turn to the big guy that just swung at me, ignoring the one that just walked into the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh, you've made me angry.
I think it's my
Alright.
turn.
With my axe.
It's
here.
not your turn. It's Floyd's turn. Floyd's in forward stance.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, so go ahead, Floyd.
I'm gonna use fellowship as well to get the favor.
All right. So you're favored on this roll. Do you want to burn any of the audience participation?
Yeah, I'll use an extra one there.
All right, down to 4.
We're down to 2 fellowship.
Good deal. Go ahead and roll.
So which way do I put the bonus?
What do you mean? To the right. Right is positive, left is negative.
I think I did that and it didn't happen, but let's see what happens there.
It seems to work. It worked for me when I did it, so I don't know.
Yeah, it worked for me.
7 points of damage.
Nice.
7 points of damage against the big guy, which is not enough to kill him, take him down, but you like whirl around. You manage to like as he's recoiling back from his swing, and he's just sort of got this utterly arrogant, smug look on his ugly face. You just take the axe and just ram it forward right into his stomach as he leans over, and then you kind of get ready to swing, like baseball swing with the axe blade itself. Then it will move over to Irinial, who's in defensive stance. You've got 1 on you. You've got a broken jaw. What are you going to do?
Okay, so I'm going to use both the fellowship and a audience D6.
Okay.
So that's 3 and 1 for the total. Yep. And I'm going to swing at this other guy.
Okay.
So sword plus a feat die plus a bonus die. So I should have 1, 2, 3 D6s and favored. Oh my gosh.
I mean, you're kind of moving a little bit more cautiously, not as quickly, staying tightened in, and because of that, your swings are just a little too slow, and they manage to duck out of the way.
And then can I move back?
Yeah, but you're not gonna be able to move so far that he can't get to you on his turn, so it's not important. The only way you could potentially do it is if you burn your action during that. So Gilead, is your turn. You're outside. You've got the bow out. She's like really quickly trying to, much like Saw, just trying to go through like the bindings in her legs, and she's looking up at you with this angry look on her face. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot her. And if I could use one of the bonus dice, please.
Yep, down to 2 from the audience.
And then, because that's 1 and plus 2. I'm gonna burn a hope and use my keen-eyed to get inspiration.
All right.
So
We'll say it's very easy to see her, so this is more along the lines of you're just looking for a really good spot to get her, as opposed to you can see her in it, so you're aiming like maybe for the throat or something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Floyd, is Irenial your fellowship focus?
Yeah.
Something bad happens to you when I get injured.
Oh my gosh, that was nothing but 1s and 2s as you just rolled. She just rolled a 1 on her feat die, so 1 on the D12, and then on her 5 D6s, she rolled 2 1s and 3 2s. You fire down her, and she looks up, and she looks concerned as she saw, and you let loose, and you just miss completely. And she looks over, and she almost looks like, how did you miss that? As she turns back at you, and it just gets back to quickly cutting.
Maybe as I was drawing to shoot, and I look up, and I saw, like briefly through the doorway, Floyd being engaged and like his like bleeding.
Okay.
Oh no!
The big brute, seeing Floyd get aggressed, Floyd jamming the great axe into his stomach. He looks up, and you can see just utter anger comes over his face. He reaches back, just a big tomahawk vertical swoop down onto Floyd. I roll a 22 with an extraordinary success. That's 2 heavy blows that we're going to submit. That's going to be a grand total of 10 points of damage to Floyd.
Oh, God.
Wow.
How are you looking, Floyd?
About, did a pretty big blow to me.
It's a pretty big blow. You're almost driven down into the floorboards as the blade cuts through and just slashes right down your chest, And almost for a second, the swing was so vicious, the blade embeds in the wooden floor, and then he just wrenches it free, and you see splinters flying as the blood of our friendly dwarf is now dripping from the blade. Yeah, this isn't great, guys.
No.
Then outside, the woman is still trying to cut her bindings. Inside, we can see that that Auriniel is still locked in this death battle. But you are defending, so I am going to get a penalty die as they swing at you.
Please miss. Please miss. Oh.
I rolled a
yay.
10 on my die, but because you took defensive, that's a miss because I only had the one extra d6. Okay. And then finally, the guy with the squirting blood in his leg that came out of the bathroom that you completely ignored doesn't look particularly good, by the way, as the blood is really starting to pool on the ground next to him. Will nonetheless swing. Oh man, we'll swing down at old Floy. Did that swing? Okay, it didn't go through. Let me try that again. Roll. Does not appear to be working. We'll just say it hits, right? Like, we'll just assume that it hits. So it should be... Let me try it the old-fashioned way. There we go. That's a hit. Oh, boy.
Is all that.
Oh, no.
That is a hit, heavy blow, and a piercing blow.
Piercing.
So as I rolled a... I don't see how that's a piercing blow. Yeah, that shouldn't be a piercing blow. I rolled a 2 on my feet die.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Needs to be a 9 or a 10. So yeah, but you do still take 5 points of damage.
Okay.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be a piercing blow. I don't know why it's telling me to do that. It's weird. Okay. And that is that turn. Guys, it's not looking good. As Floyd comes back to you, are you staying in forward stance, or Riniel, you staying in defensive? Gilly, you still in rearward?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay forward.
Okay. All right, go for it. You've got the big guy who's next to you. He's taken some damage. You've got the guy by the door. Also, both of them have taken damage. It's, you can see that clearly. It's just a question of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite the adversary. I'll just keep fighting this guy in front of me.
All right. The big guy. Go for it.
Let's see what I got here. I just get the 1 bonus from forward.
Okay. We still have 2 more bonus die left from the audience.
What's our fellowship looking like?
1 left,
2.
I think.
We have
1
2.
left, I think. Someone said 1 at a certain
It's
point.
1. It's 1.
It's 1.
1.
It's
Oh,
1.
who
I took
used
1
it?
last time.
Yep. It's
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 1.
I'll use the bonus from audience.
1. Okay. Go for it.
Alright.
Oh, we fucked.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Even with a 1 on your feet
Yes.
die, you still got not just a
Great
success, but a
success.
great success. Describe
gonna be-
your kill, by the way, because that's enough to kill him. 8 points of damage.
Yeah.
Describe what this looks like.
Just taking blows from front and back, but still hanging on 1 knee. Bring my axe up, double hands, and just bring it down this guy's shoulder, cutting him in half pretty much.
So as you slice down through his arm, kind of wrenches free that has the sword. And he'll kind of grab you by the beard, like his blood in his hand kind of dripping. And he'll say something sort of doesn't really make sense. For Angmar. And he just falls and kind of collapses to the ground, dead. Auriniel. Oh, thank you so much, Aaron. You guys have restocked. You're up to 4 of these rerolls. Auriniel.
All right. I'm gonna try to hit this guy.
Okay, you're still in defensive. This is definitely not bold, so you do not get to
Oh yeah, I only have
using-
one hope point left, so
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything with that.
Not very bold for it. It's not very Aragorn-like. Just saying. Not very Arwen-like. Very bold.
Are we okay if I
heroic
take the last
figures.
fellowship point?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, do
All
it.
right. Doing advantage, taking one of the audience supplied. Thank you, Aaron. So I'll get a plus. I'll get favored and +1 d6. So favored +1 d6. Come on.
What's total damage?
Wow.
As that is a success with a 15.
Yay! So it's 3 damage.
It's just 3 damage. It's not enough to do anything. It'll do damage to him, obviously, but it's not enough to take him out. You managed to, as it was a very defensive battle between the two of you for a while since he broke your jaw. You've kind of been going back and forth. You're almost like turtling up a bit. He's smashing against your shield. You're kind of pushing him back into the corner of the room, but you're not able to actually get any kind of swing off on him. But you do manage to finally get one as you kind of take a little slightly more aggressive maneuver and you kind of get him with an overhead swing. All right, then it's going to go over to Gilly.
Okay, she's gonna take a deep
Outside.
breath. She's gonna try again. We are going to. What?
I was just reading. I used the Aragorn card in him. I was taunting Melissa. Aragorn fought with a lot of things, Melissa. Aragorn has a very
Broken
lengthy
jaw?
history.
Not being one of them. Just saying.
Probably a lot of things. He probably broke many bones, legs,
I'm sure other
Okay.
things.
hands. Fell off
Take
a
one of
cliff.
the dice. Oh my god, it's awful.
Fell
From
off
the
a
pool,
cliff.
please.
You know. Gotcha.
All right, down to 2.
Okay, I am rolling my bow.
Great
Yay!
success
Oh.
with a 30. What are you
So
doing?
it is a fell bow. So that just means I raised injury rating.
Which you've already hit with a 10 on your feet die. I don't know why the piercing blows don't seem to be functioning properly tonight, but that is a piercing blow.
Well,
Describe your kill as where do you put the arrow to take her out?
right in her artery in her neck. So like I get her as she's like straining or something, and it just enters one side, pops out the other.
Yeah, like after the first shot where you just flat out missed despite being like 5 feet away and like she was bound, she just didn't take you seriously. And as she's just all of a sudden comically, as the arrow just lodges right into her neck, she just slumps forward onto her feet and falls down onto the steps of Breaker's home. Okay, so they're down. 2 left.
And then I'll move into the doorway.
Yeah, you just advance a few steps.
Yeah.
The one by Irinial, you've kind of pushed him back and back towards the double doors that go into the office. Seeing this large figure that probably the leader fall to Floy. Seeing another, it's 2 now. You see the eyes kind of begin to get big. And for his action, he's going to flee. He's going to try to run. And so he's going to bolt back through the office and try to leap out the window. Kind of like just without even opening it, just smashing into it and just stumbling outside. And then I think the other one, despite his bleeding leg, will bolt out the front door. This is the one that came out of the bathroom that you got for first, took the first hit of the fight and stayed up through the whole thing. Will charge out the front door and nearly trip over the woman that Gilly was able to kill and just try to make off as best he can down the road. We'll say this. Do you all want to try to pursue, or do you lick your wounds? What do you do?
Irenial's not running after.
Okay.
I'm gonna attempt to shoot the guy running past me.
Okay. So if you're going to try to shoot, we'll say you're not going to chase. You're just going to try to take like one shot at him as he's going.
Yeah.
Floyd, what do you want to do?
I'm not gonna chase here.
Okay. So Gilly, why don't you go give me one range attack? If you get the hit, you'll take him out before he gets away. But if you miss, he's going to get away. And since no one's chasing after the one going up and diving out the door to the north and out the office, that one will get away as well. So go ahead and roll that ranged attack there, Gilly, with your bow.
Okay. Give me, since we're coming up to the end, give me a dice from the pool.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to spend a hope for inspiration.
Okay.
God, man, I am rolling lugs.
You have rolled at least 2, 3 ones on your feat die as you fire, and like you can see it kind of nicks him on the shoulder, but it doesn't land, and he kind of stumbles ever so slightly, but then just keeps running, and you can see him just sort of running full breakneck speed towards the, in the distance to the Chetwood, despite the fact that he's got that.
Did you say I cut his cheek?
I mean, you failed. You didn't hit him in
Okay.
the face. Come on. No, it's fine. I don't care. You can cut his cheek, shoulder, whatever. If you're going to use it later to try to recognize him, no. But if you want to do it just for flavor,
that's what I wanted.
No, you
Never
failed.
mind
No.
that.
For flavor, though, we can do it.
Okay.
Okay. So the fight is won, but you look around. There's bodies on the ground. You look over to Aurinial. Aurinial, your jaw is hanging limply, and you're having trouble talking. You can still talk, but it's painful. I'll assume you rush over to your friend,
Yep,
Mr. Breaker.
Yep, that's why I didn't chase after.
When you take a look, when you kind of run into the room, you can see that he has been roughed up. It looks like he's suffered a bit of a beating. He's an older man, probably in his 70s, you would think, maybe late 60s, but he's definitely older. You can see that he's got quite a few bumps and bruises, black eyes, that kind of thing. He is breathing, however, but looks like they knocked him unconscious. You look around in the room, and you can see it's like they were going through his things, and you know that he's got one of the best libraries there is when it comes to the local lore, area door, Brelands, etc. Old books about the kingdoms before what is now here, like old Arthedain and Arnor and all those the history books basically that most people don't really respond to. Likely has probably given you maybe talks at length about the line of the Dunedain and everything like that, which, while I don't think you have the blood specifically, you decided that's some that you work with do, but you can see they've been going through his things like as if they were searching for something. Floy and Gilly, is there anything in particular you want to do? As we got to go here to make as long as got to get going, but is there anything in particular that you wanted to do before we closed out?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna walk into the bathroom because I nearly shit my pants after that strike.
Oh, keep it classy.
My goodness.
Keep it classy. Always keeping it classy is Floyd. Classic dwarven comedy. Gilly, anything in particular what you would be doing?
She's just gonna walk around and make sure that they're dead, not unconscious.
Yeah, Steven. Vigo did, but Aragorn didn't break those toes. Just so you know the difference. So anyway, just saying. I mean, Aragorn was good enough not to get his jaw broken, Aurinial. I'm just saying. So we'll wrap it up in this because we got a couple week break. After a little bit of time bandaging up, and you can see that you kind of go through the belongings of these people, and you can find more of that strange tobacco, all that kind of thing, and you don't find anything other than that of significance. You get some crude weaponry here and there, like old weapons. You get this kind of black iron blade that doesn't look of local make. Eventually, Oswald wakes, this old man, and he kind of looks over at Aurinial, and he's got this panic look in his eyes. He's like, "Oh no! Did you stop them? Did you stop all of them?"
Not all of them.
And you see he starts to get up, and he's wincing, and he's kind of scrambling. The map. Where's the map? And he's kind of desperately looking around, and he's got this horrible look of like concern on his face. They're going to. They took it. They wanted the map. All of them. A forelost of the Northern Downs. They are looking for something. They're on tasks from masters that are awaking. We're in danger. The whole of the Breland is in danger. Ugh. And then he just kind of like passes out again from just utter pain. You can see this man's way too old for this. And he just kind of collapses there. And that's where we're going to end. So we'll dive into
Oh no.
what exactly he's talking about when we get back. But yeah, we got to get going. That was a long fight. That was a dangerous fight. I thought you guys might.
I was scared.
Yeah, it was getting a little ugly. I thought maybe we could thin the herd a little bit before that happened. But well, things being what they are, you guys look pretty good. But we do have a wounded character. We'll dive into what happens with that later. Okay, thank you for everybody who hung out tonight. Thank you for those of you who threw some bits, helped save our heroes' lives. Definitely those audience purchase bits certainly kept them up. We're getting a little now into the story that we're going to kind of explore. Forenos, North Downs, Weather Hills, Rudauer, Angmar. These are all terms that you can see on your map of Eriador, and we'll kind of start exploring that as we go. And I think finally next time we'll get into a journey phase. But they were looking for something here. And had you guys gone to the Forsaken Inn, I wonder what would have happened to Oswald Breaker. Okay. Roger, thanks for hanging out. We're taking off, so you haven't missed anything. So just closing plugs. Later tonight over on Defenders of Cobalt in about 2 hours, you can catch Ashley and I playing Darkest House, Monty Cook Games, as we're playing 20-something-year-olds in a haunted house, and yeah,
House hates us, and
house hates
us
us.
to die.
Just and so does Steven. Steven hates us too. Who's the GM? But
Steven
it's fine.
has
It's
killed
fine.
me once.
We hate him too, so it's pretty fair. And then Sunday night over on Steam Still Murder, I'll be playing Shadowrun. Back on our channel on Monday. Back here, we'll be playing Ultraviolet Grasslands. And then on Tuesday, I'll be over on Garblag Games, as we're doing the Great Garblag Games. I can't remember the name of it. It's a game show, and we're doing like a thing. And for the honor of North America, I'll be fighting for it. But that's it. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for those of you that are watching this on YouTube later or on VOD. Definitely appreciate it. But we'll catch you next time.
Happy
bye-bye.
holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays.